Couple of days later, Periwinkle Nate and their owner had arrived in Italy on a Monday afternoon at around 1:45 p.m. in June. The plane that they traveled on flew over cypress trees before landing slowly on the runway. Next, the owner went to the rent-a-car place to get a car so they could travel to their vacation villa home and to have transportation to get around Italy for the next couple of days. By the time all three of them arrived at the vacation villa, it was 4 or 5 p.m. Once inside the villa, Periwinkle and Nate played with a ball and string toy to get some exercise, while the owner went to unpack the luggage. Then right after that, they watched a film about Italian horses before having dinner at 6:00 p.m. By the next morning, Periwinkle, Nate, and their owner had breakfast and got ready to travel to the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The time they were on the road was 8:20 in the morning. So far on the road trip, they have seen a lot of green rolling hills, cypress trees, and old villas that have been around since the 19th century. Many other homes are made from bricks and have brick driveways, wooden window shutters, and concrete stairs in a garden. "20 miles later, Periwinkle, Nate, and their owner saw an olive grove which has over 1,000 acres. The olives growing on the trees are used to make olive oil. The olive oil is locally made for the area. "150 miles later, they were still on the road and they saw a horse ranch that specialized in Italian heavy draft horses. On the 600-acre property, there were 350 horses roaming the countryside to get fresh air and exercise. In no time at all, they had made it to their destination, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Alongside the Leaning Tower of Pisa is Duomo Square. The Leaning Tower of Pisa was built in the 12th century, which is also a bell tower. It took a very long time to be built. The kind of architecture the building was made was Romanesque style. The material it was built was with marble and stone. The Leaning Tower of Pisa was built to show how strong Pisa, Italy was as a city. Sometime when the tower was built, they took breaks from building the tower. In the 1900s, the ground had gotten a level. That's why it started leaning, and so the ground had been worked on to prevent the tower from leaning any further. The other buildings around the Leaning Tower of Pisa is called the Square of Miracles. The two buildings are a cathedral and a round building. All three of them walked around the square for an hour and a half. Then after that, the owner had taken some pictures. A memorable picture was taken of Periwinkle with the Leaning Tower of Pisa in the background from a long distance. The owner had taken the picture with a long lens. At around 1:30 p.m., all three of them went to a nearby park to have a picnic lunch. About 15 minutes earlier, the owner had stopped by an Italian restaurant to get an iced tea, calzone, and a salad. Once the picnic was set up on the grass with a red blanket, all three of them had lunch. Nate and Periwinkle had their own food with water to drink. When lunch was finished, the owner had let them play a game of soccer for 20 minutes. By the next day, they went into a small town to look around. The owner had took pictures of the historical buildings. Afterwards, they went to get some souvenirs from a store that specialized in souvenirs. Right in front of the store, in Italian, it said Souvenire. The owner had bought a small biography book about the Leaning Tower of Pisa, 3 medium-sized plates, 2 t-shirts, salt and pepper shakers, 2 small statues of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and a frisbee. After the small town sightseeing was over, they returned back to their vacation villa. While they were at their vacation villa, all three of them spent time outside before having lunch. While outdoors, the owner had drew their new frisbee for them to chase. Then by the next day, they were going on a day trip to Rome. By the next day, at around 7:30 in the morning, Periwinkle and Nate were playing with their favorite toys in the bedroom while the owner was getting breakfast ready in the kitchen. By the time it was 7:50 a.m., breakfast was set up and ready to eat. After 8:15, when they were finished, their owner had made a picnic lunch for the trip to Rome. At approximately 9 a.m., Periwinkle, Nate, and the owner were on the road. They were not too far from Rome, Italy. So it was a 3-hour road trip. The first stop before going to Rome, they went to see the ancient Rome road. The first roads that were built and well preserved with volcano ash and lime. The concrete made the road stay together. Periwinkle and Nate had stood on the ancient Roman road for their owner to take a quick snapshot. Next, all three of them went over to Ostia Antiqua. Ostia Antiqua is the ancient city of Rome. There are many well-preserved buildings that are well preserved. The ancient city was next to the Arabian Sea, where they had the shipping port for the ships to come from in and out of traveling through Italy. The buildings were made from bricks and concrete, and so was the roads. The city had Market Square, courthouse, apartments, warehouse, and temples. Austria Antigua is surrounded by many pine trees. The city was built around 1 AD. They walked around the ancient city for an hour and a half, and the buildings there are called ruins. Then the owner had taken many snapshots of the ancient city. At around 10 a.m., the owner had drove over to Aqua Claudia. Aqua Claudia is an aqueduct built around 40 AD. The aqueduct was also built underground. It held 1,000 liters of water to get throughout ancient Rome. Water traveled from the aqueduct for many miles. Periwinkle and Nate and the owner walked around. Aqua Claudia Aqueduct for half an hour. Then the owner had taken a memorable picture of Periwinkle Nate standing right in front of the Aqua Claudia Aqueduct for a memorable picture. The next tourist attraction was right in the heart of Rome. The building all three of them saw before lunch was the Parthenon. The Parthenon was an old Roman temple. It was built around 600 AD. The stone concrete building had great architecture. Right in front of the Parthenon is many columns to help support the building. In the middle of the building is round, but the triangle's roof is right in front of the building. The round part of the building is called a dome, and the dome had a glass skylight called the oculus. Back in ancient Rome, the skylight was used to bring light during the daytime. Name